Got very, very good Wisconsin team tomorrow. A team that is very gifted offensively. They're very old. They've added a nice piece in A.J. Storr to them in terms of their ability to play offensively. But it seems like the same cast of characters that have been there for a long time, coming off a game that was very unique. I think in the fact that you look at it defensively, both teams made a lot of really hard shots, and we had a nice stretch defensively where we kind of turned it up and got some stops. Get that thing up to 14 or so, but Minnesota played great, and we just happened to be clicking on all cylinders. So Wisconsin's a very good offensive team. They're right there, same caliber with us and Purdue, and they've been very good on that end of the court. So don't expect anything other than a good, hard-fought win. And Wisconsin is typical Wisconsin, and don't turn it over. And you have to go beat them. They're not going to lose. You have to beat them.
You guys have been number one OER over the last 2 months. I know at Oklahoma State you had that for the entire season. You're doing it different ways, but are there any similarities, maybe in terms of just confidence as a coach, so you can go get one?
Yeah, I think that we've always tried to be that team. I think it's an exciting way to play. I think kids want to play that way. Players enjoy the pace, the tempo, the under 7. The other night was a little bit unique, and it was a pretty low possession game. Minnesota runs a set, plays a little deeper in the clock than a lot of teams do, but we've always tried to play that way. And we probably have the premier player in the country in transition, Terrence, and then a little bit different than at Oklahoma State when we had this year we have a pick and pop 5 who can really shoot it, and my teams at Oklahoma State had pick and pop 5s, and it's really hard to guard. It creates great spacing, but I think it's I'm confident on that side. We've been pretty solid at different times defensively as well. So, but I think it's this group is confident on that side. You can't control it every night, but I love the quality of shots we're getting, and I love the fact we're not turning the ball over.
What's made it so easy for Terrence to be integrated into that beauty ball, that kind of style and principles you guys run offensively?
Terrence just kind of lets the game come to him. Terrence doesn't he doesn't press. He's really worked hard on his game, taking players one-on-one. I think we've seen him grow, as Io did, in particular Trent, in that area where he can beat people off the bounce, get to a mid-range pull-up, get a 3 when he needs one, and he has that ability. That separates him from a lot of other guys. He's we don't put him in a ton of actions, but he's gotten very good at just playing the game and playing off Marcus or Ty or Coleman, whoever's in those actions. So just maturity and age and a lot of hard work.
What can, starting with Wisconsin, with this last stretch of 3 games that before the season was going to be tough, just maybe mean for this team as you get towards Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament?
Well, yeah, you look at stretches. When the conference schedule comes out, you look at games, and you don't know how the season's going to play out and how teams are. And there was a stretch early in the year. You look at it and you go, oh, where do you find one? And then you're going to end the season with Wisconsin, Purdue, and Purdue has probably been the one given since the jump. Where everybody knew, okay, they're going to be pretty good. But Wisconsin's had a great year. Iowa's rounding into form. Anytime it's Illinois, Iowa, it's going to be a good game, and so it's there's a lot of stretches throughout the season that you look at and you just kind of nod your head and go, it's going to be tough. Well, now that you're up on this, it's tough, and they're all tough. And you know, not to downplay Minnesota, but we knew that was going to be a hard game. They're good. All their metrics play into the top 25 here in the last month, 6 weeks. So it's just here. It's, you know, they're all quad one games, and you know, it's the hand we're dealt. So we go play the cards.
Since you made it through with 28 games, and you know, for the most part have found a way to get one. Just where do you kind of feel about this team as, you know, they've got 3 opportunities for big ones?
Yeah, I feel great. You know, it's been an uneasy season, you know, from the standpoint that there's been hasn't been without distraction, you know, and it hasn't been without injuries to a couple of key guys who I feel like would be playing a good amount, Amani and Nico. We've had to weather that. Guys have had to log more minutes. We've had to, you know, kind of a abrupt change in how we were playing early compared to what we're doing now on the offensive side, and you know, that's impacted Dane at a certain level. So it's been not without change and some speed bumps along the way, but it shows the maturity of this group, and they've persevered, and we found a way.
Is there some more comfort in March knowing you have an older team? Like, they understand what to expect, quad 3, they know that there's opportunity ahead here, right seed lines, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is that for you?
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah, that's very fair. And you know, I go back to the Penn State game, and I should probably leave that game alone. But you know, last year I would have had to beat that one up pretty good, you know, with them. And this year we didn't even talk about it. They know, and they know how to prepare, and there's moments there, and you don't feel like you have to be the guiding light as much, because you know, we've got guys who've been in those moments, and you know, we talk about throughout the course of the year. You know, you come to this place to play in big games and to try to have the opportunity to cut down nets, wear rings, and go to the NCAA tournament. And that's what all the work's for. And it's now, you know, we're not dreading it and looking forward to the season being over. We're excited and looking forward to the opportunity.
How much have you seen Wisconsin be a style program, right? Like, they just play a certain style, you know what they are. Is that true in this year from your estimation? And is that good or bad, playing a team when you know what they're going to do?
You know, AJ gives them a different dimension than that they've had. But again, they've still got the Blackwell off the bench. You know, they've got, they're more athletic with AJ. AJ's a special athlete. But you know, and he's kind of got the green light to shoot it whenever he's, you know, gets up 15 or 16. They're playing a little bit faster, and I say that, you know, it's still hard to get to a game with 70 possessions with them, and you know what they're going to do defensively, and there's a lot of really familiar faces still in that lineup, and you know, Wisconsin's Greg's been ultra successful there, and this year's no different.
Your ball screen stuff defensively, how have you evaluated Coleman? Of course, he's been in that a lot more this year as a 5-man. What have you seen with him?
The numbers are terrific. You know, we haven't given up a whole lot. We gave up 1 or 2, I think, to Pharrell. But you know, we've given up very, very little to rollers, which has been you know, a key, and again, a tribute to Coleman. Coleman's extremely smart in those situations. You know, when we have gotten in trouble, we've gotten clipped in a screen, and you know, having Terrence on the ball in a lot of those situations, guard and primary guys, has helped a bunch. But we're still forcing teams into the kind of shots that we want. You know, Minnesota hurt us the other night with, you know, they made 9 off the bounce threes, and you know, we laid on a couple screens, and they got them off and made them. But again, we're still going to live with teams having to shoot those. Those are really, really hard shots.
I mean, defensively, to maybe force the teams in, I mean, you're still limiting threes, forcing tough twos, but I don't know, is there frustration when they just keep going in? I mean, because you're doing all the right things, but you're not getting the result.
I get frustrated because I want to play the perfect game, and I want every possession to be a stop, and I want to win every battle, but you also understand that we've got really good players, and I think we've seen a shift in the Big Ten. I think we've got really good offensive teams, really, really good offensive teams. I think we have really, really good guards in this league. We have guards who can make hard shots. You know, maybe it's not as much a post-up league as it has been in the past years. So, you know, analytically, we break down after every game. We just did a deep dive into this one. I mean, we're still forcing the shots we want to shoot. They're the least effective shots in the game. We're taking away threes. You know, our challenge rate is really, really good. Sometimes teams just make them, and fortunately for us, we're doing the same thing on the other end. So it's you know, I still think we're gonna grow here and take another step on that side. But I like the shots we're forcing teams into, and we're not fouling.
Marcus, going back home, so to speak, what do you see out of guys when they get that opportunity to go back home, have a lot of family?
Yeah, usually there's a little different edge. There's no doubt. I think, you know, we saw that a little bit with Dane playing Minnesota, playing a home school, and I always like that. I think it's a neat experience for them, and you know, he's experienced enough that he's not gonna you know, make it any more than it is. But you know, they play with a little different, maybe mental focus and edge, and you know, Marcus' dad, very successful high school coach there, and you know, a lot of contacts, so it'll be a fun game for him. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.